If you've watched this channel long enough, you know that I absolutely love API. I love it for its simplicity. I love it for its sound quality. Something great about that. Now, Kit Plugins has just released the new A5 plugin, which is based off of the API console found in Nashville, Tennessee's Blackbird Recording Studios. In this video, we're gonna see if the A5 plugin lives up to that standard of simplicity and power. So make sure you hit the like button, make sure you leave a comment, and let everyone know what you think about this plugin, if you've used it, if you have it, and subscribe to the channel for all things UAD and Luna. Now, at the time of making this video, the A5 is on sale for its standard pricing of $200 for the plugin. You can find this plugin at Sweetwater. You can also find it at Kit Plugins directly. And if you do decide after this video that you want the plugin, I have left an affiliate link below to Sweetwater. Now, obviously this plugin is a model of an API unit, but it's not just a model of one single unit. You get 3 EQ units, you get the 212 preamp unit, and you're also getting some sort of amalgamation of a master section from one of the large consoles found in Blackbird Studios. As expected, it works with basically any DAW that supports AAX, AU, and VST3. The plugin itself is very inspiring looking and easy to understand with a fully resizable interface. At the top, you'll find your input and output gain controls, which controls the signal level coming into the plugin and out of the plugin. You'll find a preset manager, an A/B tool, and a plugin settings control. From there, the plugin's broken down into 4 major sections. You've got a preamp section, EQ section, fader section, and the master control section. Each section has its own quirks and its own uses, so let's talk about it. In the preamp section, it's not really a traditional preamp control, it's more of just a saturator, which I think is pretty much how most plugins should be at this point. You're not really using them in a traditional sense to pre-amplify your signal. So what the preamp knob is actually really doing is doing a combination of input gain and then output attenuation so that you're really just getting saturation. In the EQ section, this is where you're gonna have your bypass for the EQ section, and also you're gonna choose between the different EQ models. Now, the output fader's purpose is really solely so you can drive into the master bus section. You can drive into it more or less. Additionally, you're gonna find 2 hidden menus. You're gonna find the Kit Plugins logo, you're gonna find the Blackbird Studios logo. Both of them are gonna take you to the respective websites. Now, I really like when these companies throw in these Easter eggs. I just wish that the Easter egg was taking you to something relevant to the plugin, like tutorials or how-tos, etc. And finally, in the master section, this is where you're gonna turn on that master bus feature, which I love. And you're also gonna be able to turn on the hum feature. Now, on that note, I feel like the hum has been dialed back versus the other plugins that Kit has put out in the past. I like this. I think that the hum level is a lot closer to what you'd find on analog gear, or at least to my ears, it seems a lot more realistic. Even when you're cranking it up to level 3, it's still subtle enough to where you're not getting something ridiculous. So that could also be a result of what they are modeling. I know APIs sound awesome and they're really pristine, so maybe it's that. But I found on the 1073 plugin, for example, I was always kind of bringing it back to like level 1 or level 2 if I wanted that. Either way, I think they've really found a sweet spot there, so I dig it. So the most important thing is, how does this plugin actually sound? Let's check it out. Now, I know a lot of reviewers always bring up a track that sounds pristine already. It sounds great. I don't want to trick anyone's ears, so let's use a track that's not recorded the best, that doesn't sound the best, so we can really listen to the sonic qualities of the plugin rather than, hey, the track already sounds good. All right, so what I've done here is I've set up the drum bus and I've duplicated the sends to the drum bus to a drum bus copy, and we're gonna flip the phase first off to just know that this is perfectly in phase for each of the drums. We want to see what the difference is between having the plugin on, having the plugin off. And obviously you can't hear anything. We can confirm this going to the master bus. There's nothing going on down here, so it is totally nulled out. And if I flip it, let's listen to a before and after with it on and see what it's actually doing. whatever's happening is super subtle. So let's see what happens when we try to null them. So this is them together. So the difference between the two, you can hear it for yourself. There's something going on in the high end for sure, but overall it's quite subtle, which is cool. So that's the preamp side. Let's see about the line side. Let's see how different that is. So on the line side, you can hear it's even more subtle. So let's dive into the plugin and actually see what it sounds like on its own, just dialing up the drive, listen to the hum, stuff like that. First off is hiss, analog hum, whatever you want to call it. You can see here that there's something happening. And it is pretty subtle. It's very subtle there. So at level 1, it is really quiet. At level 3, you can see it starts to pop up. And just like anything, as you add more of these plugins across your project, it's gonna get more and more noticeable. You're gonna really hear it then. Does it change with the different models? That's a negative. Does it increase if I increase the preamp gain? No. Okay, so I guess the signal itself for this hum level, it's just totally outside of the actual signal chain. Side note, if you're watching this video and you haven't hit the like button yet, please take a moment to hit it. It helps me pop up into the YouTube algorithm. And if you'd like to support the channel further, go to thestevekinney.com where you can book time one-on-one with me directly to help you with your productions. Just something interesting to note. All right, let's see this master bus compression. Let's see what this does. Yeah, cool. You can really start to hear it gripping quite a bit, but you got to drive into it a lot as well. So I see this being very useful on actual master buses where there's a lot going on. All right, let's go back to default and play around with these high pass filters. See how nice they are. Yeah, cool. I mean, what can you say about a high pass filter or low pass filter? It sounds great. It sounds very musical. sounds like analog gear. I'm leaving fab filter up so you can kind of watch what's also happening to the frequency spectrum, the frequency content. You can see it's very smooth in the way that it reacts. So sounds great. All right, let's hear how nasty the distortion can get if you really drive it up. I mean, that's pretty nice. That sounds like analog gear. That's sweet. Great job there, that's for sure. Great for some subtle stuff too, if you just throw a little bit on there. The interesting thing to note there is it's telling you the percentage of saturation. So you can go 100%, which is just downright gritty, and then find something a little bit subtle somewhere in here. Let's try that saturation on something else, like a bass guitar. So something that I just kind of think is interesting, if you throw the pad on and then you gain up, I think it becomes a lot more like natural. You're not just getting just nasty downright total distortion. But either way, I keep kind of coming to a consistent area of somewhere between like 20% to 35 or so, 40, no more than 40. And that's kind of where it seems to want to live on most of my signals when I'm just adding a touch of that saturation. And it sounds nice when you do that, so it's really cool. Now let's try to do more of those null tests. So let's just see what's going on. See, does the plugin null out when you use the internal polarity switch, or what about the actual polarity switch inside of the DAW? So first off, we just got to confirm whether or not the tracks on their own will null. And you can see that they are playing, but way over here in my master bus section, there is no audio coming out at all. So now let's turn this on. We'll go to default. Make sure this one's in default. And again, just in the default mode, do they cancel out? Let's see. Nope. See a little something's happening down here. You might be able to hear it if you have headphones on. Now, is that any different if we use the internal polarity switch? It's about the same, really. So no matter what, it seems like there's some sort of non-linearity happening between the plugins. Let's see if that's consistent. Yeah, okay, so there is definitely something nonlinear going on with these plugins. I love that. I think that that is what analog is. All right, the next test that I really want to do is I want to put the EQ through its paces. Can I break it? Can I get it to sound brittle? To do that, let's listen to another different signal. Here's the acoustic guitar. Yeah, cool. So we're boosting the heck out of it right at the top, and it sounds real. It sounds like real analog gear. It's not totally breaking and getting nasty. And also, let's listen to the other version of this too. All right, so we've got it in line mode. Here's what it sounds like. Sweet. Yeah, again, it doesn't break. It doesn't sound bad. Let's listen to the API Vision CS. Let's try the other one. Let's see what that does. So we got the 560. Here's the other 560. Let's start with the kit plugins. All right, let's try 8K. Yeah, for me, again, you can kind of hear it a lot in the guitar pick, the actual pick of the acoustic guitar track. You can hear, again, is getting a bit brittle on the UAD version, and it's still kind of holding up on the kit plugins EQ model. I just think that's a testament to how good the kit plugins actually sounds, because the UAD still rocks, right? It's always been great. So for me, I really truly believe that this EQ model that you're getting, whether you're using the 55A, 55L, the 56L, you're getting probably the best EQ model that's out there, period. Now, how does the saturation hold up? Let's check that out, right? So let's default these out. We'll actually just take these EQs out entirely. All right, nice and fuzzy. It's pretty cool. It just sounds different. I wouldn't really even compare them because I could see a situation where I might want to call on either or. Both of them kind of have their own unique characteristics. So shootouts are always fun, but they're not always relevant to real life. So I think the star of the show here is, again, this EQ section is an incredible, amazing job and well worth it for that alone. Not to mention the sweet saturation that you're getting and this interesting master bus section. I think that's really cool. So I think this plugin is incredibly straightforward. It's no frills, just like real API gear. You're not getting any sort of compressor section. You're not getting any sort of dynamic section. You've got saturation, you've got some EQ models, and then you've got that interesting master bus section. So very straightforward, very easy to use, just like a real piece of API gear. So there you have it, more analog madness from kit plugins. Let's be honest, the business of making music is very subjective, so let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of the plugin? Let me know what you'd like to see me cover next on the channel, if it's a plugin, if it's a piece of gear. Stay tuned for more kit plugins too. I am gonna be covering the rest of their lineup for sure. If you'd like to work with me or connect one-on-one, go to thestevekinney.com where you can book time directly. To all of you who've used the affiliate links, thank you. You are making a difference on this channel. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Cheers.